Initiation in schools be banned completely, and should that still be allowed in our schools today? That is the question we pose to you. Would like you to participate in that discussion, but let's start that conversation now with Eben.
Yeah, obviously it'd be great if people can tweet us their feelings. You know, it's something that affects most families as we go through the through the different grades in school. Almost year after year we see this thing. But you know, recent social media pictures and videos of initiation or bullying at various schools around the country has had the public up in arms. Some people argue that this kind of activity leaves lifelong scars in school children. However, there are those who believe that initiation is necessary to build cohesion amongst learners. With continued reported attacks on school pupils by their peers over the years, the Basic Education Department developed a code of conduct for learners aimed at addressing this kind of inappropriate learner behavior that leads to bullying. Now that the Basic Department stance on the initiation and bullying in schools is clear. We were joined in our Pretoria studios by the Basic Education Director of Safety in Education, Mr. Paseka Njobe, and we started off by asking him if there's a difference between initiation and bullying in schools.
The phenomenon of initiation it's very old. The cohort that has been at boarding schools will know better, and it has since then evolved in many forms. You go into the former Model C schools, you find that it has been made a culture to allow seniors to receive the newly kind of registered candidates either at the entry of a phase. So when you leave the primary phase into a senior phase or senior phase into an LFET, you get to be initiated. And this phenomenon cannot be condoned. There is no reason, logic, and any sense to any parent or an adult who can say it is anyway right as a means of maybe allowing learners to sort of mature into the next level, because the scars are deep, they're emotional, at most physical, and to the detriment of the esteem and the emotional standing of the learners that experience these things.
We're running a poll, sir, today. We've asked our viewers out there to tell us whether they think there's still a place for initiation in schools. 3/4 of 140 plus people that have voted now say, no, it must be stopped. Are you guys going to put a complete stop to it and ban it in all schools?
In the first instance, Ashraf, it's never condoned. We simply say it is outlawed. And wherever it is obtaining, our officials, in terms of the school policies and regulations, are on hand to deal with those matters decisively. It cannot be tolerated.
I want to ask you, I'm busy watching this real cruel video on screen, and I want to talk to you a little bit about initiation, because part of it deals with the bullying factor, and there's a real bullying element with it in South Africa. Do you think bullying is getting out of control in our schools?
I think it will be a bit of an exaggeration to say it is out of control, but we are aware of there are different forms of bullying that we note. Remember, it evolves with technology. With cyberbullying is at the upper, and you also have homophobic bullying, where in some instances in remote areas, people of albinism will be sort of identified as a misnomer to a society. And then you've got bullying in the form of, you know, those that they themselves, the bullies, having some psychological kind of problems, and they then have to present themselves as tough guys or tough sisters or girls. So there is bullying, and in a different phenomena, in different contexts. And we are dealing with that wherever it emerges, but not to the extent that it is out of control.
What does your research say? What does bullying lead to? Does it lead to suicidal thoughts on the part of the victim? Do we see suicides? Do we see numbers of suicides increase? That kind of thing.
I think to your viewers and maybe the researchers out there, we haven't received the stats that are alarming, but we do have psychological problems that emerge from learners, withdrawal from school programs where a learner was excellent, either academic or at sports, learners losing interest, learners really withdrawing and showing signs of emotional depression. Those are psychosocial problems, really. And they are very difficult in some instances. We don't have parents that are alert to see and know that this child is being bullied. And so we provide guides to the parents, guides to the educators to look for particular signs.
You talk about the parents and the learners. Give us a message to them here. What is the avenue that they can explore to get help in the case of bullying specific? And we know there are various different kinds of bullying, of course.
No, thank you very much for that. We have provided a number of guides. In one of our documents, we've got information centers. You know, the Child Exploration Online Processing Center. We've got the toll-free number of our own department. We've got the safety school committees in every school. We've got our schools also connected to the police station as a partnership. And we're asking those that maybe are suffering from this or where parents know that the school is doing very little to also contact us or look into the school policy and see if it addresses this. And where the learners have access to communication, we do have a free website where they can give us tips. And then we can sort of go into those schools and make sure that we root out the elements and the perpetrators of bullying.
Final question, in conclusion, I just want to talk about discipline in general in our schools. I spoke to Naptosa yesterday, and I'd like to hear your view on this. Do you believe or do you see a deterioration in the levels of discipline in our schools? Should we be concerned that our schools are becoming less disciplined or our children are not being disciplined enough, not just at school but also at home?
I think discipline is an ongoing kind of challenge. We have learner populations that have increased. Our learner population for basic education is around 12.5 million learners, over 25,000 or so schools. So, Ashraf, you would agree with me that I don't think we have what we can call mayhem. So discipline on its own is dependent on a number of factors. If the school has got proper management, is the school community, in terms of parents at the school governance, are they playing a positive role into the school? Are the learners themselves involved? Because we've got learner committees and learner leaders. Schools have a tendency of undermining the role of learners in their own learning and their own development. So discipline, as we are continuously dealing with it, we believe that after the banning of the corporal punishment, it maybe could be lack of alternatives to deal with minor misbehavior or lack thereof of educators or parents to respond. But we are available. We have provided sufficient guidance, and we are training on new processes, how best we can provide divergent programs to deal with discipline in schools.